JaceMoore. Yes.
If you have like a tail out behind you that's like 5 or 6 segments, do you have any suggestions for making that move naturally but not, move around actually not a
Okay, well,
or something?
I've seen people use some plastic rods and or very thin like piping that you can get, and what they'll do is they'll have it out there and they'll put like some fishing weights at the end, so that when you walk it'll move around and it'll just kind of bob. But what are you wanting to make the base of the tail? Is it like an animal tail, a dragon tail? Like a dragon tail, so it's large at the end and tapers out? Yeah, okay. Well, if you could even use like some hanger wire for this, because if you don't want to, like you said, violently whip around, the pieces of the foam or whatever you're going to use for the segments are going to give it, are going to keep it from having so much give, because it's going to have resistance on it. So say like this is the foam and this is the wire. When it moves, it'll push back on it. So it won't just be like, it'll just kind of bob slightly. Yeah, so yeah, just a few fishing weights at the end will give it a bounce to it. Oh, yes.
What would you use for a more metallic look on like a Gundam?
Oh, okay. Are you looking for like a paint, a fabric, or
Just something to make it more metallic looking.
Well, you could cover it in, say, a shiny vinyl like with the fabric, or there's plenty of metallic fabrics out there. Anything that has a good stretch to it, because you don't want to try and like go and just you're not going to pull satin on there, let's say. It's not going to happen. So they make almost everything you can imagine right now in a stretch version. So you just go to a store and just check out, they'll make metallic wet look vinyls or just regular colors, and they'll come in different sheens. And I've seen pictures of people who will do like their megaman armors with vinyl stretched over. If you wanted to just paint directly onto like this kind of foam, the foam sheets, you can put layers of glue seal on it, which is a seal of tacky glue plus varnish, and it's an acrylic varnish, so when it dries it's flexible and it'll keep it waterproof at the same time. And then you can paint directly onto that with acrylic paints or t-shirt paints, and so it'll give it that shiny metallic look. Are you tired, Stars in here? I'm sorry. Yes.
Well, would it be similar to make a character like Megaman as much as it is to make a character like Starscream?
Yes, it is actually, just because of the type of armor parts that you're using. Because you're going to be making great big feet, or you're going to, or if you're making X, you'll have the armor up here, and your shoulder things. So are you talking about like old school Mega Man with like just the arms and the legs?
Old school is pretty curvy. Rockman X is a bit less.
Yeah, he has curves, but Rockman X has more armor.
Yeah. Rockman X has different armor. Rockman Dash, that's a bit more complicated, actually.
Well, like I said, you can do the same kind of curves is what I was talking about with that. Whether you're using a poster board base or a foam core base or a foam sheeting base as far as heating it up. You could also start with a paper mache curve and then cover that with the fabric if you guys wanted to do something with paper mache. But I would suggest if you're doing paper mache, you do not forget to seal it, because after a while the sweat from your body as well as the moisture around you will degrade it. So I would seal it with a varnish before you start wearing it around and painting it. Anne, would you like to talk about how you made your Greygar Rockman costume?
Most of it was just like the thick kind of foam that you use for Starscream, because half of it, like the parts that I needed, I made the Grega Beast from Battle Network. Like the chest part that I needed more breathe and room for was made out of the soft foam, and I just used a spandex technique for that. But for like the hard pieces, like the arm armor and the leg armor, was all poster board and then I just use a lot of masking tape to hold it together. And I'll get like the foam sheets, like the hard foam from like Target, they use for like board presentations or whatnot. And I get an X-Acto knife and I cut the solid shapes out of that and mask tape those all together and just attach them to like the rounded poster board. And then I'll cover everything in masking tape to make sure it holds real tight. And then I'll do a layer of paper mache over that, and I use 2/3 wood glue and 1/3 water, so you don't get the smell from like flour, because I hate flour.
Yeah, don't use flour, guys.
Yeah, don't use
the glue.
flour.
Don't use the flour.
Yeah, wood glue is really good and it's really strong. And I'll use computer paper and not newspaper, because computer print paper, it's all white, so you don't have much trouble painting it later on, and it's also thicker, so you don't have the flimsiness of the newspaper. And once you get all that, and I just seal it with like the sealer primer or whatnot, and then I use gesso over that, and then you can get a nice surface and smooth it out, and you can sandpaper it too if you need to. And then I just use acrylic bakes over that, just use acrylic paint, and it comes out really good, and it's real sturdy. I've worn it quite a bit now, and it's still holding together. It's real lightweight too, which is nice. I like the lightness.
Didn't you win an award at Onicon?
Onicon. Yeah.
It was one of those conventions.
Yeah, like once you get your main form for your body as far as proportion, you can put all kinds of things on it. You can do your armors, your furs, anything like that. It's like I said, it's just having your start is the thing. A lot of people won't know where to begin. As when I first started, I got my information by just asking people. At A-Con, there was a couple that used to come as like large Totoros, and then one year a girl came as Mew, and I was just like, tell me how you make it. And then, you know, I used their techniques, and then I did my own trial and error. I figured things out, and then eventually there was plenty of information that came on the internet as a big help. I would suggest fursuit.org, and of course cosplay.com for good tutorials and information as far as where to order things and techniques. Questions, guys? Yes?
Who's the best example of any of its kind of cosplay that you've ever seen?
The best example of...
Your favorite example, other than what you've been.
Favorite example I've seen other people do?
Yeah.
Is what you're asking? Okay, well, there's a cosplayer called Goldie in Japan that makes really awesome Gundams out of foam core and poster board, and it's just kind of so clean that it looks like it's made out of like enameled metal.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's just paper.
Looks like a real thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
How well does it move around or something?
What'd you say?
Does it ever state how well it moves around?
Oh, I make them so I can move around.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I really don't want to make something that I don't want to get around in. With Starscream, I would go around at a convention just fine without spotters. It's like a lot of costumes you might need a spotter, and a spotter is a good thing to have because you have someone there to have crowd control for you, keep people off of you, keep you from bumping into things, and they can also be your camera person, things like that, and get you drinks. So, really though, a lot of my costumes, I know that I'm not going to have somebody around me all the time. So for myself, I have to make sure that I can, you know, get around freely without having to be like an invalid and just kind of waddling around.